I'm Peter Overton.
I'm Tara Brown.
I'm Liam Barton.
And
I'm Giorgio Ginossi, back with stories on World War I and how the war affected the soldiers, now on 60 Minutes. Thank you, Jessica. Now today we have a special guest star here in the studio. He fought in World War I as well as World War II. He is the most highly decorated Australian soldier. Please welcome Harry Murray. Thanks for having me. Haha, you're very welcome. Now born on the 1st of December 1880, you were living in Evansdale, Tasmania. You were born into a humble family, you being one of 12 children. You've already got an army right there, haven't you? Now, your dad died when you were at a very young age. This obviously was very tough on your family. As a result, your mother withdrew from Evansdale State School at the age of 14. She then educated you at home. Once old enough, you helped on the family farm. Now, did you have any other interests while working on the farm? Well, I actually had 6 years of service in the Volunteer Australian Field Artillery in Launceston, which led me to take interest in serving in the army. At age 19-20, I migrated to Western Australia. There I found work in the goldfields as a mail courier, travelling by bicycle or on horseback. Now, when the war started, you enlisted as a private in the Australian Imperial Force. Did your voluntary service impact your decision to enlist in the war? I was a young, resourceful, very proud man. I think you could define me as the leader of the pack. When men started going to war, many of the boys around the country thought it would be a great opportunity to mark their place on the world. Fighting in the war was considered honourable and brave. Only men fought in wars. We wanted to fight for our country. We wanted to be the generation to make an impact. Not to mention, the ladies preferred the soldiers over the local lads. Now, what happened when you actually enlisted for the war? I was posted to the 16th Battalion. I belonged to one of the unit's 2 machine gun crews. I was sent to Black Boy Hill Camp for training. I became the gun number 2, which meant I had to feed bullets into the gun. On the 25th of April 1915, my mate number 1, gunner Lance Corporal Percy Black, and I landed in Gallipoli. Our battle started from the minute we set foot on the land. The day after the landing, both gun crews met at the rear slope of Pope's Hill, and we sniped at the Turks crawling up Russell's Top. Our men were of no ordinary determination. Though physically wounded, our spirits remained high. We refused to leave our guns on that day or through any of the heavy fighting of the next week. Because of our stamina, I was promoted to Lance Corporal on the 30th of May 1915. I was then evacuated due to a gunshot wound in my left knee. After I recovered, I rejoined the unit on the 3rd of July. I fought for a while, but I was then again wounded on the 8th of August after an attack on 971. Due to my efforts in Gallipoli, on the 13th of August, I was promoted to sergeant and commissioned as second lieutenant and transferred to the 13th Battalion. That's really very interesting. During your 7 years of off and on service, you moved around quite a lot. What battles or wars did you fight? So, as I said before, I fought on the Gallipoli campaign. I also fought on the Western Front, the Battle of Somme, Battle of Mouquet Farm, Battle of Passchendaele, the Battle of Khamon, Battle of Amiens, Battle of St. Quentin Canal, and of course the Second World War. All were very vicious battles, the Battle of Somme being the hardest, not just physically but mentally as well. You know, seeing young men, your friends, all being shot right in front of you. The ever-present feeling that if I do one thing wrong, I will die. thinking if I was only a couple centimeters either to my right or left, I could be dead. Those traumatic experiences playing over and over again in your mind, even years after the war, driving some strong-willed ex-soldiers to even take their own life. That is truly devastating. On a slightly lighter note, whilst the war was raging around the world, crops and food resources were destroyed. How did you soldiers stay nourished and strong to fight in these battles? In other words, how did you sustain yourselves? Obviously, with such harsh conditions, food was very hard to come by. The most common meal eaten by us was corned beef and hard biscuits. Now, this isn't very nourishing to the body, so this made fighting and hiding and surviving even harder. Our bodies were pushed beyond limit. We were all malnourished and it was just dreadful. You were the most decorated Australian soldier. How many and what commendations did you receive? I won my first award on the 3rd of July 1915. Both Black and I won the Distinguished Conduct Medal for actions between the 9th and 31st of May in Gallipoli, during which time we tirelessly manned our machine gun. I then went on to be awarded the Victoria Cross, the Companion of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, the Distinguished Service Order and Bar, and the French award Kriegsdegree. Congratulations, that must make you feel very proud. Now, after the war, did you come straight home? No, I actually decided to tour Britain studying agricultural methods to hopefully take up farming again. Were you able to fulfill your dream of becoming a farmer again? Yes, I returned to Australia buying a grazing property in southeastern Queensland. I married Sophia Cameron. Unfortunately, the marriage was an unhappy one. We separated in 1925 and I then remarried. I remarried to a lovely lady, Ellen Person. We had 2 beautiful children, Douglas and Clementine. I wrote a few articles for the New South Wales magazine, Revio. We all lived a long and rewarding life until I died, aged 85 in Miles District Hospital from a car accident on the 7th of July 1966. As you fought in 2 world wars, which included many battles, and seen the absolute destruction, what are your thoughts on war? Oh, still just unjustifiable. It drives men and women mad, killing every being it can get its large red hands on, haunting the dreams and lives of soldiers who were lucky enough to survive. War unites the country but destroys human beings. I'm sure many Australians agree with you on that one. What legacy do you wish to leave behind? I hope I'm a role model to my little Clementine and Douglas. They eased and comforted my mind after the war. I want them to see just how strong and brave soldiers were, always helping our fellow mates through the harsh conditions. But I also want them to understand that war is destructive and ultimately not worth the loss of life. Now, that's all, folks. A big thank you to Harry Murray for coming here and telling us about his war story. Thank you so much for having me. Zsa Zsa Janussi, 60 Minutes.